Adventurers enjoy seeking out the unknown. That journey can be physically demanding or fun and tasty. It can challenge us internally or simply reveal beauty. Some of us still have needs that require caution as the pandemic is wound down, but on the whole, we go farther afield each day. These explorations remind us of our responsibilities to the world community, and people we meet in our travels could as easily teach us new things as show us the face of repression, disease, poverty, or isolation. Our relative comfort should guide us to give and share as global neighbors. You may not know this yet, but tonight you have chosen to travel the world and experience diverse cultures and eras through music. This grand journey provides an opportunity to walk a mile in others' shoes. Tonight, we voyage through a sea of sound to learn more about the humanity inside and outside our borders. Meet Nikolai Kapustin. His mother moved him to Kyrgyzstan as a child, while his father fought in and returned from the war. Kapustin's study of piano led him to fall in love with jazz, and he performed regularly, but viewed himself as a composer first, blazing trails using disciplined notation to capture the improvisational nature of jazz. As with all the composers we'll hear tonight, he was prolific. This gracious family man died in 2020 after a long illness. The first piece you'll hear tonight is Paraphrase on Dizzy Gillespie's Manteca. Manteca is one of the earliest foundational tunes of Afro-Cuban jazz, and the tune encapsulated the American racial tensions of that era. Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans before Kapustin composed this piece. It wouldn't be a stretch to guess that the storm's result was on his mind. Heading west from where Katrina hit, we'll witness the ways of the Navajo Nation, or Dinétah. Chee was born in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, his words, but at age 10, his parents moved him to Ohio to give his musical career a greater chance of success. His original vision to preserve the music of his dénoué community has grown into a much broader practice, combining his classical piano training with Native American heritage. Tonight's piece, Pathways, is found on his 2020 album, Scenes from Dinétah. Cultural elements bind the hundreds of distinct federally recognized tribes. For example, the number 4 is sacred, so although harmony is not generally used in dénoué music, Chee uses intervals of fourths throughout his work to symbolize this number. Repetitions also serve this purpose and additionally provide breathing space to consider his message. Ultimately, he hopes his music provides understanding and communicates spirituality. Throughout the concert, you'll be treated to several palate cleansers by Reynaldo Hahn from his Le Ruban dénoué. Hahn was born in Caracas, but spent most of his life in France, where as an adult he was successful as a composer, primarily of songs, and other creative jobs. In the last decade of the 19th century, Hahn met Marcel Proust, who would become his lover for 2 years. When their affair ended, they remained close friends. Hahn wrote these 12 waltzes while he voluntarily served as a private in World War I. Many years later, Paul Cadmus painted an adoring but licentious piece showing Hahn being tempted by the god Pann. A sprite kisses him, and a red and blue ribbon unfurls or unties and blows to the left, like musical notes. Like all of our composers, Carlos Guastavino traveled and performed widely. He was born in Santa Fe province and returned there in his sunset years. Like Hahn, many of his works were lovely songs. His patriotism ran deep, and his country loved him for his tonal, emotional music. He was reserved and enjoyed solitude, but regularly communed with his many loyal friends. You will hear Tres Romances Argentinos. You may notice a Debussy and Rachmaninoff influence, yet his music is characterized by simple, discernible melodies. Imagine this piece as you would a ballet that introduces dancers before they interact. Guastavino lingers lovingly, so we learn that the cute girls exhibit some drama, that the boy swaggers jauntily but isn't fully mature. After we get to know them, they dance, chaperoned, in the square with a few innocent tango moves. Guastavino paints a clear picture and links classical to Argentinian folk music in much the same way that Chee links Navajo music with classical. None of our composers lived their whole life in one place. Kelly Marie Murphy was born in Italy, but the family moved about Canada's military bases in her childhood. She settled in Ottawa after studying in London. Murphy's work is serious and experimental, but she has a great sense of humor. Her website even has a list of quotes from her worst reviews, and her evocative titles are pretty irresistible. Some fellow Canadians commissioned the virtuosic, yet emotionally accessible piece you'll hear. It is in part inspired by artist Joan Mirau's The Escape Ladder. Mirau had settled in Paris, but then fled to Palma to evade the fascist German regime. The work reflects the horror and chaos he felt as the war machine hit too close to home. The black swooping birds may represent fighter planes, and the latter, escape. Murphy leans in on the doom and escape things of Mirau, but the work is not without humor. Dr. Blue is a character from a steampunk novel she enjoys. Think adventure, travel, and trying to get back in one piece. The environment may get weird, and who knows what might be waiting around the next corner. Does Dr. Blue escape? Decide for yourself. Finally, back to Boulder, via Illinois, for the title-inspiring piece by Carter Pann, Circumnavigator. By the end of the evening, you will have heard from many locations and cultures. You will be richer for the experience, and you'll likely hear something new. But what gives the music that brilliant, vibrant, mellifluous depth? It's that each composer allowed their inner compass and inspiration to be influenced by different cultures and diverse eras. Just like these musicians, you can encircle and embrace the entire world, even if it's from your comfy chair. You can ally yourself to the global community. So sit back and buckle the seatbelt of your mind. Prepare yourself for a circumnavigation.